Okay, being a hairdresser, there is a pros and there's cons. Let's start with the pros. Number one of the pros of being a hairdresser is working with people, and that means your clients becomes sometimes your friends, or sometimes even much further and much more than just friends. So what you end up doing is hanging with people for a living. The second point in the pro list about being a hairdresser is that you get to have this amazing impact and make a difference about people, not just the way they look, but the way they feel. Now remember, when the clients comes to you, first of all, they come to you to entrust you with something of the most intimate thing in their life, is their appearance, their look, their image. And that is an amazing responsibility, but also it's very, very flattering. And at the end of it, you get to make them feel incredible about how they feel inside as well as how they look outside. So that is an amazing, amazing pro. The third one is about being creative and given the license to go and do whatever you like. And actually, when you come to think of it, being creative in that field is like when you are cutting hair, you are more like an architect. And the reason I say that is because what is architecture? It's about form, shape, volume, and texture. And that's what you end up doing without even realizing these creative abilities that you have. I mean, oftentimes a lot of hairdressers don't even give it a second thought. But in reality, some people, if you're talking about architecture, and please don't mistake it. It's just a totally different field. But for an architect, they have to go and study 5 years in the university, and then they go ahead and do 2 years of apprenticeship in a firm before they even get their license. And what they're doing is building buildings or homes for people. But here, you're doing far much more impact just by giving a shape that gives people that freedom that, when they come out of the shower to just like shake their hair and try to do something with it, and they get this shape and that style and that magic that makes them feel good about who they are and how they look. And to do so, that means you subconsciously have some feelings and understanding to that texture of the hair and to the shape of the face and how you cut it in a way where it falls beautifully, whether or not you get to go ahead and finish it. So that is an amazing ability, So, do not underestimate what you're doing. So this is when it comes to hair cutting. And in the same area of being creative is color. And in my point of view, color equals painting. And painting, that means you're an artist who goes and take a canvas, that hair that has perhaps already beautiful character to start with, or a hair that's been destroyed for whatever, somebody has done some home trials from YouTube videos while they were in lockdown, and you go ahead and try to see, okay, how could I make this, bring it to life and to bring something that will enhance the look of the client, to make them feel and fall in love with their hair and their look all over again. That takes tremendous talent, and yet being a hairdresser, you do not realize that amazing ability to and the amazing power that you've got, as well as being creative is the styling of the hair. Now, I don't need to tell you, I'm sure you've been living it and seeing it, how you can take somebody's hair that looks okay, mediocre, or looks just naturally beautiful and just ordinary, and you go ahead and do something amazingly extraordinary out of it. Now, that's a beautiful thing. That's an amazing thing, where it could be a showstopper. So the way I translate styling is like sculpting. So you are also an artist who going ahead and taking somebody's hair, and it might be limp, it might be curly, it might be frizzy, it might be short, long, it doesn't matter. You go ahead and make some amazing work of art of it as they walk out of the salon going for their special event or even the red carpet. Another pro, that you have a lot of opportunities to grow by keeping fine-tuning your skills when it comes to cutting or coloring or highlighting or doing editorial work or doing being a session stylist, being on photo shoots, as well as an educator, and you could be also an ambassador for a brand. Another pro that you get to decide also how much money you want to make, and that's really up to you how much you want to put into it. You want to make 50,000 a year, you will make a 50,000 a year. You want to make 500,000 a year, you'll be able to make 500,000 a year. You want to make more, you are able to make more. All it takes is dedication and applying yourself and trying to really look for opportunities and how much you could apply yourself for these opportunities, make the connection, follow through, and then you will get to what you're looking for. Another pro, you get to be in the same space, in the same area as so many other creatives, whether you're working physically in the same salon, the same space, or the same studio. And that's really stimulating, that's really exciting, because when you have so much amazing creative energy in the same spot, magic happens. And whether you realize it right at that spot, right then and there, or sometimes much later, when you get like, oh my God, I remember at this point we were doing this and that really gives me an idea to go ahead further to do this and that. That comes one way or another. So it's amazing to be surrounded by other creatives that at the same kind of feeling and inspiration that that drives all of you together in that field, or being a hairdresser in that community that is global, that eventually one way or another you might cross paths, whether you are going to a local expo and see some other people and meeting some new people that have similar interests and taste, or be it where you go ahead into some international fashion show or international expo for hairdressers, and you can discover a different kind of point of views about doing things, or be it nowadays being on Instagram or YouTube, and then you get to feel how people could interpret different things in a different way, and that is also inspiring. So being in that creative realm of amazing creative minds is magical. And another obvious pro for being a hairdresser is that you constantly getting plenty of exercise. You do not necessarily have to, and at the end of the day, go ahead and try to go on a run and to do, on bicycling or whatever, yes, of course you could do that, or go ahead and do some other sports, but the fact is that you're all day on your feet, moving around, running back and forth in the salon, coming, interacting with people, you're constantly on the move, and that is tremendous, and that definitely beats anybody that's got a great job at sitting the whole day behind the desk and developing carpal tunnel from typing on the computer, or their eyes going crazy because they're staring at the screen all day long. So in that sense, we tend to overlook that aspect as well. We are in a good place. So after spending the whole day busy and doing everything, really at the end of the day, we have been socializing, we have been moving, we have been creating, we have been incredibly stimulated in many ways. All we need at the end of the day is just to chill and relax, maybe over a glass of wine, or hanging nicely with some friends and doing something really low-key, where other people, after they have been going crazy behind the desk all day long and doing nothing and they're feeling so stuck, they really need to get some workout in place, as well as they want to go ahead and catch up with some other people and friends and go out to, so to speak, to socialize, because that's the only way they could be away from the desk to socialize, where we have been the whole day socializing with amazing people with real connections. Another pro, it's a cash-heavy business. Okay, now we go ahead and move to the cons of being a hairdresser. One of the first ones is, just like I said, it is in the pro of being on your feet all day, that is good, that you're constantly exercising. Also, that could be a con, because sometimes when you spend so many hours all day long on your feet, that could take a toll where you're feeling really exhausted by the end of the day. So that could be also, both pro and a con. So that's why I wanted to list it first. And to remedy this, perhaps you make sure that you go ahead and invest in really nice shoes. And maybe if you really put in a lot of hours and you're doing really well, then you go ahead and perhaps you invest in having a massage every week or every month, wherever it takes, wherever you find that works best for you. Because you have to pay close attention to your health. You want to feel good and you want to look good, but you want to make sure that also in the long run, this is not going to create a problem for you. Another con about being a hairdresser is oftentimes, and maybe, I don't know, out of habit or out of tradition or whatever it is, we don't have enough time to eat. Well, that is really, really dangerous, because you cannot go ahead and trying to go on all cylinders, trying to work really hard, and then at the end sneak to the back room for a couple of moments to shove in any fuel to get you going again. That is not good at all. Or just keep belting these espressos or these coffees to give you that jolt to kind of keep going. That is really, really bad. So I know this is something that I say traditional, or I don't know, it is kind of like a thing that hairdressers do. But actually, what the smartest thing to do is, when you show respect to yourself and to your body and to your, to who you are, what you stand for, is to go ahead and schedule a time for your lunch. And take enough time to kind of de-stress, to eat, to take your time to kind of refresh, to re-energize, and go back to work. That is far much more productive that way. Your clients will respect that in the long run, and those ones who do not understand that and do not respect it, well, it doesn't matter. You cannot take care of people if you're not taking care of yourself. So you have to feel good before you go ahead and take care of others. Remember, your health is very, very important. Remember, you are not an athlete who's got a prime for like 4 or 5 years, and then they make tons of money, and then they don't necessarily have to do any work anymore, just invest their money. Or you're not on the runway, also a model who's making a killing for a few years also, between 8-9 years, and then that's it, they stop working and they're making the money. If you really love this profession and you want to stay in it for the long haul, then that means you have to be feeling good, both mentally and physically, in order to keep going the long distance. So you have to take care of yourself and your health. And trust me, clients understand and appreciate that. Those ones who do not understand, these are not the type of clients you want to keep. Another con for being a hairdresser, that it takes some time before you get to make money. And unfortunately, it is something that not exclusively to this profession, almost everywhere, but with the hairdressers, we get to do few things before we start to make some money. So that's all right. You cannot discount that. You need that time at the beginning that you're struggling in order to feel what is it like to be hungry and to go for what you love to do. And then in turn, as you develop your skills, as you develop your passion, then it starts to become more and more lucrative, and you make much more money than you even anticipated. So first you focus on your skills and what you're doing, and eventually the money will be like a byproduct. Another con for being a hairdresser is that sometimes in hair salons, it tends to be kind of like high school or even elementary or kindergarten, where there's a lot of gossip and a lot of nonsense that takes place, and sometimes that can be taxing both for the whole environment, for the team, and for the clients. And unfortunately, that happens. Why? I do not know. Well, I guess I guess, I don't know, some people, they just like to gossip, and some people take it a little too far than others, and then sometimes it has consequences and everybody gets to feel the grunt of that negativity, and that's not really good. Another con is that some clients can be mean, and that could be for so many different reasons. The thing is, you should not take it personal. This person has some issue with one thing or another. It could be you, but most likely it could be them as well. So do not take it personal. Now, could it be me? Of course it could be me, because it could be me because at the beginning maybe I am not enough experienced, I do not have enough skills developed yet, and sometimes I have not learned yet how to read people and how to communicate with people, how to consult with people. So it's all right, because this is part of the learning process, right? And then once you have enough confidence and enough skills and enough know-how, then you could go ahead and let that client that is mean to let it all out, and then stand up there with a beautiful, nice smile and say, okay, I hear what you're saying, and let me see what I can do to help you here. Right? By doing so, you disarm this person, you're not engaging, you're not allowing them to abuse you, so to speak, because when somebody's trying to bully you and you're standing there afraid, then they're going to feel like so much power and they want to go ahead and dump even more things on you. So do not allow them that, and just stand up straight with your head up high. You say, okay, I hear what you're saying, let's see how we could figure out what is needed to be done to remedy the situation. So you keep doing that until you get the chance, and it will happen eventually, that you build your own clients that respect you for who you are and what you're doing and your talent and your quality of work. Another con for being a hairdresser is being a creative person. And in this profession, I hate to be the bearer of bad news, you are never going to be satisfied 100% with your work. You will be proud of your work, but you're always thinking, oh, if I could do this much more this way or that way, and even after the client leaves, oh my God, yeah, I could have done this, and I think, and next time I want to do that, and I want to do that. And it is a con, but actually it's a good thing. And the fact you're never satisfied, yeah, somebody would like to look at it as like, oh my God, what's your problem? What's your deal? You've done a good job. What's your deal? I mean, you should be happy with that. But it's okay. That's a good thing. That means, and as long as you're doing that, that means you are somebody who's hungry to keep growing, to keep doing better. Are you going to be doing some things that you're going to be absolutely proud of? Absolutely. But there's a lot of times that you're also going to be, looking at some of your work and say, my God, yeah, I did okay, but I'm not happy. Or I thought, oh my God, that was terrible. That's all right. There's nothing wrong with that. And when that happens, either you have an idea to how to do it better the next time, or you can go ahead and consult with somebody else that works with you, that you admire their work and their way of doing things, or they do this thing really good and you go ahead, it's like, oh my God, can you help me here? How could I do better? Or just watch them, or just go ahead and attend some classes or some courses to kind of develop these skills to kind of make you even better. So being unsatisfied sometimes with your work, or often or always, it doesn't matter. It's a good thing. It's not a bad thing. Unfortunately, we look at it and we blame ourselves and we say that's a bad thing. But it's a con. But for me, it is also a motivation to go ahead and do better. Here we come to another con that is common. There's a stigma about hairdressers that they are high school dropout. And that drives me crazy because of two things. I believe hairdressers are an amazing human beings because they are nurturers. They want to make everybody feel great, and they never stop at trying to kind of help people both emotionally, psychologically, as well as physically, by doing an amazing job to make them look their best, right? And unfortunately, there is some segment of the hairdresser community worldwide, not to say it's only one part of the world, another, it's worldwide, that everybody believes that the hairdressers are high school dropout, or some people those people are not bright enough to go ahead and study and make some amazing achievement of being doctors, architects, lawyers, and politicians, and etc., etc. And it's not true. I am completely against that, because I believe hairdressers are far much more important in society than all of these people that trying to throw the stigma on hairdressers are being a high school dropout. Now, remember, the politician, the lawyer, the doctor, the nurse, the engineer, they all come in and sitting in that hairdresser's chair to trust them with something that very important to them, their look, how they could make an impression on the world. They trust in this person who's a dropout, who had no intelligence, no education, nothing. They trusting them with something so important to them. Now there's a paradox here. That doesn't make one bit of sense. Not to mention where all of these people, including those highly educated people, come in and sharing their most intimate issues in their own life, personal life, to kind of have an advice of that person who's standing behind a chair, who has no brains, to try to fix all of their issues and give them the right advice to go on with their lives. So, unfortunately, this stigma exists, and unfortunately, there are some percentage of the hairdressing community that is reinforcing it because they believe it themselves. They believe, okay, we're not good enough, so why should we bother? And they get busy with like little nonsense things, and they do not want to evolve or aspire in their profession, and they get busy with just gossip. So they reinforce that stigma. But we are much better than that, and we could take care of it. So thank you very much, and that was it for the pros and cons of being a hairdresser.